For more than a year, they've warned of the financial mess they say they inherited. For weeks, they've laid the groundwork for rises to income tax.
I could do what previous governments have done, which is to sweep those challenges under the carpet, to cut capital spending to make the numbers add up, but then we'd be back here in a year or in 5 years' time.
It would have broken a key manifesto pledge that was repeated again and again throughout last year's election.
We will not raise income tax.
The theory had been, with a £30 billion gap in the public finances to fill, if you're going to break a pledge, do it sooner rather than later. But with news of a slightly less gloomy economic picture, government sources now say income tax rises are off the table.
And then you've got your kind of lines of communication open here.
This morning, Wes Streeting, the man who had to deny a leadership challenge to the Prime Minister earlier in the week, took the opportunity to talk trust in politics.
I think it is really important that we stick to our manifesto and that we keep the promises that we've made to the public. We know that trust in politics is low, so at the same time as rebuilding our economy, rebuilding our public services, we've got to rebuild trust in politics too. The fact there's been this speculation about income tax rises show how challenging the Chancellor's position is in terms of the state of the public finances and her determination to stick to her fiscal rules too.
So if she doesn't raise income tax, what choices has she got now?
So there might be other options still within the income tax system. So instead of raising income tax rates, you could reduce income tax thresholds, so the point at which you start paying tax or the point at which you start paying higher rates of tax. So we're in the middle of a freeze to those thresholds at the moment. The Chancellor could, for example, extend that freeze for another couple of years.
When the news broke, it initially caused the yields on UK gilts to tumble, although they later recovered on reports of rosier economic numbers. The Conservatives called the government chaotic. The problem for the government:
I don't think anyone seriously thinks this government is going to come back from this, no matter how the budget lands.
Some of their own backbenchers agree. Is this tenable?
No, it's not tenable, frankly. And we now need to do what the Prime Minister once said, which is put country before party. And frankly, party before personal ambition.
And that means replacing Keir Starmer, a new Prime Minister?
I just don't see how this can stagger on without any kind of resolution on the horizon. And I think the Labour Party, the Labour grandees, the men in grey suits need to now really seriously think, how do we get Andy Burnham back into this parliamentary Labour Party and let him step up and become the next Prime Minister? That's my personal view. I know it won't be shared by everyone, but I don't see many other options.
Government sources maintain they are still having to make, quote, tough choices. Choices that will have impacts both economic and political.